I don't wanna fall asleep 'cause I miss you, baby.
So when that
Don't.
song came out, I had a girlfriend and I used to sing that, and she would laugh because I would fall asleep instantly um, after, you know what I'm saying?
SEX?
After, you know what? You know, you just like crash out because you're a dude and that's what happens. Your mind
Yeah.
just immediately turns off and you're like, "Wah."
Mission success. I'm gonna go
But
to the store
here's
just because
when
that
I
alarm keeps
dream
going
of
off.
you. The sweet
Yeah, when I
secret now
feel
do.
do, 'cause I
I
miss you,
miss you,
baby.
dude. And I don't want to miss a thing. Hunter
You
McIntyre.
know, one of the greatest interviews of all time is Steven Tyler on Joe Rogan. I mean, one, he's just a fascinating character, but he has completely lost it during this interview.
Oh boy, what did they talk about?
I don't even really know. I mean, like he brings like I don't remember much of the details, but I'm just saying like he brings like an orb in with him. He like
Oh,
brings like
Jesus.
little knickknacks everywhere he goes, and you can just tell clearly this guy probably like had a bottle of acid poured on him at one point, and he completely lost his mind, and he's never fully come back from that experience.
Yeah, well, he's sober now, I think, a long time. But you know, there's this thing called wet brain when you've just done so many fucking drugs and alcohol that your brain is, you know, gone. So
I haven't hit that point, luckily, and I can't make that promise. Actually, here's the sad thing: is if you have hit the wet brain, you probably don't know you've hit the wet brain, and you think you're probably still on top of your game. And everyone's like, "Dude, you're tapped," and you're like, "Nah, I'm peaking," because that's how I be.
well, you know, as I've said many times, our whole industry that we've chosen, right? Obstacle racing, extreme athletics, is full of crazy people. But there's a line, and then there's people who are like over the line that you kind of stay away from, or I stay away from. You know
Like
what I'm
that
saying?
guy who tattooed the Tough Mudder anthem on his back.
Well, I'm a Ray Upshaw fan, but some would say him. I'm thinking of Crazy Brad.
Dude, I just started talking to Crazy Brad again.
No, you
At
didn't.
an, I swear to God, hand on my heart. So he posts this thing
Oh boy.
on. He reposts this thing in like a video that he filmed a year ago inside of one of the big Spartan groups, and he goes, "Do you remember that time Joe DeSena like effed over one of his best friends and stole the company from him?" And I just screenshot it and sent it to Miguel and Yancey and
Oh
then to
boy.
David Magida. And I was like, this is about to get great.
All the old school guys.
Yeah. So he like drops this bomb in the middle of this group and people are asking all these questions. And I was like, yes. And I went and watched it. I thought it was going to be like a detailed version of his interpretation of why him and Andy don't work together anymore.
Right.
And it wasn't. It was just like his idea of capitalism and how it's manipulating the world. And I was like, Brad, you let me down. And then I called him on the phone and I got to understand where he is. And he still has a very limited grasp on what reality is. But at the same time, sometimes he makes enough sense to make me think that maybe I should take a page out of his book. But maybe he's just so crazy that he just caught me at the right angle.
Which page would that be, Hunter?
You know, I will say now that I'm getting a little bit older, I'm starting to realize the rat race of society of like earning lots of money, to have potentials of having things of great value. You work, and then all of a sudden you finally have this thing, and then like owning like a mansion in Malibu. Sure, you finally made it. You own this home in Malibu, but the amount that is going to cost you just to live your daily life here, you could never quit. Now you are on the treadmill and it's set at a certain speed and you have to run that hard for the rest of your life or you're going to lose it. And he explained that to me when I was younger. And he's like, dude, I'm going to go to Greece and I'm going to give up on all of this stuff. The United States doesn't have a grasp on like ways to live. People care way too much about money over here, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, dude, Brad, you're nuts. I'm going to be a millionaire and I'll talk to you later. And if you need me to lend you a sandwich because you lost it all while you're in Greece, I'm happy to help you.
Right. Well,
And now that I talk to him, I'm like,
let's put a pin in Brad for a moment, because I think this is an interesting topic, because even growing up, and people say like, oh, become a doctor, become a lawyer, you're going to be making all this money, right? And then as you get a little bit older, you see those people and you realize they're living pretty nice. They got a nice car, they got a nice home. But, you know, a conversation you and I have talked about, what does being a business owner mean? Well, a business owner, what it really means is that you can go away for 2 weeks and the business still makes money. And if you're a doctor or a lawyer with your own practice and nobody working under you and you don't work, you don't make money. So this magic word scale, right? So you've got to figure that out, whether you're a guy who's trying to do media, whether you want to be a fitness coach, whether you, what the cookie maker, you know, there's all kinds of great books, by the way, that I can recommend that I've read and applied some of the things. What's the best one though? Oh man, I can't think of it. The one with the baker is what made me just remember. Oh my God, it's such a good book. Anyway, the point is that, yeah, you're a doctor and you're making
The Muffin Man?
What's that?
The Muffin Man?
You're a doctor bringing in $250K a year, right? But again, like if you don't open an office that has other doctors in it so that you can go on vacation and it still produces income, you don't have a business. You have a job that you made for yourself. You made your own little prison. So, and many people are happy with that. But back to Brad. So Brad, we've had some sane conversations, and when we were talking a little bit over the years, and he actually reached out to me and he said, Matt, and anybody who's big enough to say, what am I doing wrong? I will give you time. He goes, Matt, what am I doing wrong? I can't get people to buy in on this thing, the thing that he was doing at that time. And I said, well, Brad, you're kind of all over the place. You notice how like you'll get really into something for about a week or a month, and then you're completely onto something else. It's hard to trust that.
Yeah.
But it gave me respect that he actually said that, because it takes a big man to say, hey, what am I doing wrong?
He's a good guy, man. I spent a lot of years of my life with that guy. I had a lot of fun. Like 22-year-old Hunter.
But Hunter, you're kind of like the Senate in that you welcome in everybody into your world. You will give people, a house to live in or a couch to crash on, and hey, come train with me, eat with me, let's be together. Like you're kind of, so you attract some of the crazies the same way the Senate does.
I do. See, that's the thing that I still cannot figure out about Joe. Sometimes I get really upset with Joe, and then sometimes I realize I'm like, that guy did give you a career. He brought you into his home. He fed you. He took care of you, and he did it with hundreds, if not thousands of other people in a similar capacity. And it's understandable why he has put himself in a place where you can't really emotionally reach him at this point, because he's probably been burned and backstabbed, and not necessarily all bad things, but he's been through a lot and he's given a lot. Like I was just listening to the interview with Ryan Kent on the Running Public, and they, Bracken was talking about how he got everything stolen. Robert Coble called Joe, and Joe just basically gave Bracken his credit card so that he had somewhere to stay for the next couple of days and took care of him. I was like, CEOs of companies don't have to do that. And Bracken's a great guy, but his number one prize pony. Like if Michael Phelps calls up a swimsuit company and is like, hey, I got robbed, they're like, we will have a helicopter to you in 5 seconds. Just stay right there, Michael. Like, that's Michael Phelps. And the fact that he did that kind of stuff, it took me back off the ledge a little bit, because sometimes I get there with Joe. I'm like, what a kook. But yeah, man, it's a very interesting industry. I think I have to explain this to people. My parents always warn me a lot. They're like, Hunter, you get so excited all the time. All you want to do is spend time with people and do great things all the time. And then once the high comes down, you don't realize that these people aren't exactly where they are when they're on the drugs when they meet you. And when I say the drugs, it's kind of like more of like a theoretical thing. The high that we're all on for us being at a world championship in Canada, and about to be at the start line. You could be a very different person where I meet you right then there than when you are like just in the calm of your own home, or when life's just back to normal. So yeah, it's a very interesting experience. And Brad was probably the first person that I had in my life seriously. Besides, it was Miguel and Brad that were like my two partners in crime for the first 2 years of me Spartan racing. And this is before we had like 50 pros showing up at the start line. It was like myself, Elliot McGuire, Hobie, Miguel, and Brad, and David Nagita at every single race. And I miss the guy, I have to say. Big shout out to you, Brad. Hopefully you have a pair of headphones so you can listen to this.
I'm sure he has a pair of headphones. I saw him in Greece when I went to Greece last year. I was
He
like, "You're
says
still here."
he said he stole the flag for Spartan race, like the big world championship flag from the trifecta race there last year. And he says he has it and he plans on doing something big with it. So get ready.
I'm sure it'll be epic. By the way, everyone's asking, well, who is this guy? Who is this guy? I don't know if we should give him his last name. Like, if you know him, you know him. I don't think we need to blow up his spot. You know what I mean? Are you frozen? What are you doing?
I would, no, you had a little bit of a lag in your voice. If I would could explain Brad to anybody, Brad is one of the founding fathers of the Spartan race community. He may not be one of the founding fathers of Spartan race, but he's one of the founding fathers of the Spartan race community.
You won't believe this. Because he started one of the first groups. He started like Spartans Worldwide, right?
Yeah.
It's a Facebook group that's now defunct, but he started it.
Well, yeah, they took it down. I think people thought that what he was doing was unethical. Just some of the conversations he was starting.
What I can't even remember. It's been so long. What was this?
I don't know. Like, my buddy Dennis Welch, like, always has to post something political on his Facebook or Instagram every single day.
Right.
It's like you can't just float down the river with the rest of us. You gotta fight the current, don't you? So yeah, Brad was just doing similar things, and I think people were like, "This is too much. We have to disband."
Right. Well, there are guys that do that. And I used to be one of those guys. I had to troll everyone. I had to give my opinion on everything, and I've decided it's not worth it. And there's certain guys that still do that post like the solution to every, whether it's obstacle racing or our government. They've got to chime in. It's like, oh, what a surprise! Dennis chimed in.
Yeah. Well, eventually I had to block my aunt the other day. It was pretty sad.
Oh no.
But that's why I live on top of a mountain. I don't want to have to talk to these people. And I have limited access to everybody. But
can you take your shades off? I feel like I'm
to
talking to a movie star. Can you take your shades off and look at me? Gosh, there we go. There's the Hunter that I know and love. So you're back in the booth.
Well, I thought you were going to end up recording. Yeah, I'm back in the booth. I'm so happy.
It's been a little.
I don't know if people publicly know this, but I'll announce it. We all lived in Colorado together, and then Kempson and I broke up. The Backstreet Boys had broken up. So I ended up moving back here, and I started my life like from scratch again, because they were no longer going to let me stay up here at the ranch because COVID was an issue. And I was looking to buy a home, lease a home, whatever the heck I could do here. And dude, rentals here right now are astronomical. So I was having a tough time for a second. And, every single day it was just like an experience. Like, it was Murph, it was moving out, it was Malibu, it was all M's in a row. And then all of a sudden I was like here, and I was like, finally I'm home. And then it was like basically like day one I got here, it was like a vertical wall that I had to climb up to get my situation back.
But again, because you kind of attract, let's call it the traveling circus of Hunter, haven't you had a bunch of these? Like, didn't you live with like Bracken and
Bracken.
Not Bracken. What's her
I
name?
live.
Do you live with KK? Did you live with KK at one point?
No.
Didn't Bracken and KK and everyone have a house at one point?
The only people I've ever lived, they did that in Colorado Springs, I think. I was never associated with that. The only groups that I've ever assembled were Colorado-based and Sweet Benny-based. So two times we lived in Durango. It was Miguel and I, and then it was Kempson and I in Durango. And then we moved to Benny and I moved to Utah a couple summers after that. And then after that, we got a house that we had for 2 years straight in Boulder. It was first Kempson, Cole, and I, and then it was Kempson, Johnny, and I. And then, at this point, I was like,
who's Cole?
We were about to – Cole Schwartz. Cole's a very unassuming person. He's actually done really well in a lot of athletic endeavors. Like, he's had a couple big Spartan wins, never won one of the championships, but he's always been pretty successful. He comes in and does high rocks. He's been successful. He's been on the podium there a couple times. He's just kind of one of these, like, he's like a more athletically he never really gets the attention, I guess, that he could get if he focused maybe a little more. I don't know. Right now he has a YouTube channel with his girlfriend in Hawaii. Unemployment gives people a lot of opportunities.
I tried to get some government money. It hasn't showed up yet. I don't know if it's going to.
I got a business loan, but I didn't touch the check. I still have not touched the check because I just have this like feeling to like, there's a 50% interest. I'm like, fuck.
Right.
So I don't trust anything the government says these days. So I have my money in a bank account and I'm not going to touch it until it comes like right time before taxes. And if I have to spend it, I'll spend it. Like,
do you have a money manager and or a investment advisor?
Well, the project that I'm here to talk to you about today is like, dude, it's pretty crazy. People wouldn't think this, but I actually have 3 almost full-time employees. And I have my manager. I thought we were going to wait on the company. We can wait on that. I'm saying just me independently. Hunter McIntyre as an entity, as a human being. I have a manager. I have Sweet Benny, and I have Little Hunter.
Okay.
My manager has known me.
Is it called HMAC LLC? Is it called what is your company called?
It's McIntyre Media. McIntyre Media.
Hey now.
Hey baby. Hey. So McIntyre Media.
So 3 years ago, Tahoe, or 2 years ago, Tahoe, you told me, you said, Matt, I've been on these sets with these sponsors and they fucking don't know what they're doing. I want to start producing that kind of stuff or be someone that people can turn to for that. Is that still somewhere in there?
100%. So like, I'm just realizing in this space, and like, I'm not trying to talk badly about anybody specifically, but so I commonly will get into a partnership where all of a sudden like, let's say I work with a big company and they're huge and they have marketing people underneath them and they've got somebody who's got maybe a year or 2 of experience in marketing. And in that time, it's very limited experience because they basically just read people's emails and then pass it down the pipeline.
Right.
Myself, I've been doing this since 2011 and I've been working with billion-dollar businesses since 2013 regularly. And I am their showrunner for these companies and these branding strategies. And I sit there at these tables. I mean, dude, I even sat there at the table with Esquire and NBC at one point, and it's all these big wigs. And I was like, they were like talking about how they were going to talk, they were going to portray the show and market all of us. And I was like, I know you guys think that I'm a young idiot, but I think this is going to go wrong. And it did. It tanked.
Which show are you talking about?
Boundless.
Oh, Boundless, right.
They marketed it poorly and they distributed it poorly. And you know what? Am I a genius? No. But do I have a lot of experience? Yes. And basically what I wanted to do is I wanted to start taking hold of when a company would contact me, they'd say, Hunter, like, we're looking forward to doing X, Y, and Z. And I was like, perfect. I was like, I actually have a really good idea of how we can implement this and make it effective so that we both make money rather than you giving me a t-shirt and a big check. And that's what I do nowadays. And, I get contacted by those companies. And now I'm just at the point where it's like, especially after hitting COVID and going from being a very successful entrepreneur, athlete, influencer, blah, 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 down to making less than somebody who works bagging groceries in like a 1-month period. I was like, that's it. I'm not leaving my future in the hands of companies that are able to cut my lifeline that easily. And so I just started my house, my training company. I started this business that we're about to talk about. I'm like starting all of these things to the point where I own it. I distribute it. I have complete control.
Not to be too negative, but the Hunter training program, you could have done that 5 years ago. Like, you were one of the few guys with a name that could have been like, boom, my training plan, and people would be attracted to you.
I don't think you understand. I did.
Well, you did a thing
So
with Greenfield, but that was like
so first I did with Greenfield, then I did it with, I don't think you guys remember this. It was Leaderboard with
yes,
Bracken and this other guy. Then I
right,
did Open Fit with Tough Mudder. Then I did a project with Benny. We launched this actual business in 2018,
right.
2 years ago, the same time.
But
And I had this big,
you could
yeah,
have like talking about scaling. You could have. I feel like you're someone who could get like, dude, like what's his name has Mayhem, right? Like
yeah,
Froning.
Rich Froning. Yeah.
Like
He's
Froning's
got
a
a whole
whole.
staff.
He's got a whole staff. He's got coaches under him. You could be that guy in OCR or endurance or whatever because your name's, even though you don't even fucking race OCR anymore, your name still means a lot.
So that's what I'm working on now. Like, trust me, man, like I tried working with so many other companies and it's my own fault. I kept on giving Hunter McIntyre to other companies to distribute.
Right.
Dude, you guys remember when I did that Open Fit
I
thing
do.
where I did
I I was there. You ran 7-hour Tough Mudder with that big guy.
yeah, it was a great day.
It was a fun day.
Basically, so $1 billion company, $1 million+ budget for this project, tanked. And dude, how can you, I mean, that's the biggest horse in the stable and they still couldn't carry this thing on its back. Like, and I was just like, dude, that's it. And so especially with this like COVID thing happening, I was like, dude, that's it. Like I have all the time to do this. So
You'll get more people signing up by a few posts on your stories than OpenFit does with their spending gazillions on Google ads or whatever the fuck they did.
dude, I had to become like an analytics specialist. I got a calendar and I would write down on the calendar and I would say, and I started to do different kinds of posts and I would space it out and I would put a star down for how many clients or how many guides I sold that day. So I started to understand if I posted like this, it would have this kind of thing. If I posted like this and then had a caption underneath it, it would have this kind of thing. And I just kept on learning the science of it all because that's also another thing. I would sit down with these social media specialists and I'm like, so what are you going to do to actually make
Right.
this social media campaign? And they're like, oh, well, it's a very, like, it's between hashtags and timing and collaboration. I was like, you have no fucking
You know
clue what you're
less than
talking
I
about.
do, basically.
I was like,
Dude, that's what I learned when I started selling. So when I first started for ORM and all my clients were just the races, like the races throwing me a bone and give me some money, whatever. Then eventually I started talking to brands. And then some of these brands have a company that they hire, right? And I would get on the phone with a 26-year-old girl, no offense. And in about 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, I know more about SEO than you do. I know more about, because I've been doing it every fucking day for the last 5 years.
so this comes all the way around. That's like what I was telling you. I was like, I feel like I would sit in rooms with people just like you, and you have more experience than these people. So you just eventually have to take it into your own hands, which I did completely. And it seems like you've done the same thing. And now we're up to almost 350 members in our team. And 4 months ago, we didn't have anybody. So the company didn't exist. So we're pumped.
So
We're having a blast.
350 clients, what does 350 people mean?
350 recurring clients. So we have 3 packages. We have the House Pro. That's what I do every single day. And it's exactly what I'm doing to get ready for my next program. Then there you go, baby. Then there's House Look Good Naked, which is just like, for years, I spent time modeling, bodybuilding, getting ready for a photo shoot for this cover. I was like, and I wanted to train the celebrities to make sure that they're ready for movies. So I'm obsessed with like building a body that looks absolutely awesome, but also can crush it. So that was a program that we created. That's a 4-day lifting program with some WODs and stuff. It's real fun. And then there's the house running program. It's just like, if you want to have a workout that's 30 minutes, doesn't need any equipment, and it's running based, just come do it. And I've been doing, I mean, dude, if I brought you into my room, I have literally a library that's stacked like 8 feet tall full of books. I read, I test, I reread, I retest. I've trained under every single, I probably have a more decorated, diverse, competitive schedule than anybody or anybody I know even. CrossFit Games, Broken Skull Ranch, obstacle course racing 1 mile championship, obstacle course racing 24-hour championship, boundless, like every single thing you can imagine, we've tested it.
Can I ask you a question really quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
There's a bone of contention in the OCR world that we should settle right now. Do you know what I'm going to ask you?
No.
Okay. Depending on the show or the thing, there's this phrase that comes up that says Hunter McIntyre, 5-time OCR champion.
I can name every
everyone's
single one
like,
of them right now.
I don't think he has 5. So let's fucking settle it right now.
Okay, so the first one was a short course world title that was happened in 2014. I can show you the picture and the check. It's Spartan Race World Championships.
In Vermont.
Yep.
The little known video that it's now starting to make its way around again. We've talked about it on the show before. I remember that.
Hobie Call was the one who fucked this whole thing up, and I would have been the overall world championship this year. But he went on some freaking tirade of saying that, athletes would be tested too much if they had to work out twice in one day. I was like, welcome to the freaking jungle, dude. People at the Olympics will double in the same day. It's like, shut up, Hobie.
Okay, so that's one.
For us.
All right, so that's one.
That's one. Okay, so next was 24-hour team championship, Tough Mudder.
Got it.
Next one was TMX championship. Next one was TMX championship 2. Then was the 2017 team world title. Technically, you could take that away from me because Ryan Woods drank cough syrup the night before and popped for being a steroid-using beast. But anybody who wants to come and tell that to me to my face, I'll punch you in the mouth. And second of all, I didn't get a third place medal because he technically took third in the 15K. They never sent me my third place medal or my third place check. And Adrian never wrote me and said, hey, listen, you're the third place guy. Like, no one gives me that freaking thing. So I keep my 2017 team world title. So shut it. Then I won the 10 mile title for Tough Mudder that same year in 2017. So I have to write all these things down so I can keep track.
That's 6 if you include the team one. That's 6.
So there you go. So listen, I don't know how you build world titles, but as far as I'm concerned, I've been racing longer than anybody who can continue to debate me. And second of all, it's like I'm the only person who shows up and actually continues to do these things. And I'm also the only person helping this industry out by pushing the actual professionalism of what we do. Ryan Atkins will show up and run something for 24 hours, take the check, and then go back and suck on maple syrup for the rest of his life. He doesn't care whether or not this thing goes up or goes down. And John Albin the same, and Hobie Call the same. It's like, I care that this sport actually grows to become something great. And we can all look back and say, wow,
I think Atkins cares. I don't think Albin cares either way, but I think Atkins does.
No, listen, I'm teasing, but I push this thing super hard because if I sit down at the table with people and they say, what do you do for a living? I want them to know what I'm talking about. And when I first started this thing and I used to sit on a plane next to somebody and say, hey, where are you going? Like, why are you going to, Minneapolis or Atlanta? And I was like, well, I'm going to go race an obstacle course race. And they're like, what's that? And I was like, I'm going to change that. I'm going to make sure that everybody on the planet has heard of what I do before the day I die. So yes, I get very heated about that when people say, oh, what is he talking about?
Trust me, it used to be, do you know what Tough Mudder is? And they'd say no. Now at least I can say, have you heard of Tough Mudder or Spartan? And they say, yes, I did one. So at least we've come that far.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the current project. Let's talk about Starfish, OCR Starfish.
OCR Starfish. So the heated discussion that we just had was a big part of, like I just said, like I want to lay down on my deathbed knowing that I did something big and like that it wasn't all for nothing. Because like as far as I'm concerned, Tough Mudder's gone, Battle Frog's gone, Atlas Race is gone, Superhero Scramble's
Tough Mudder's not gone.
They died and they put a new heart in it, and I don't know if it's going to last.
I think after COVID, I think we're going to see a rebirth. But anyway.
You get what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, these things have collapsed year after year after year, and especially with what just happened with COVID, it by my standard, it's completely out of our control, and it's something that I don't feel comfortable with. Like I literally was bags packed, like walking to the gate when I got my trip to Germany just canceled. Like, everything is being canceled.
Hunter, we want you to come to Germany.
We want you to come to Germany. Oh, no, Hunter, it is not going to work.
For High Rocks. We want you to be High Rocks champion. Sehr good.
So, yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, like, somebody had to do something. Somebody had to do something to change the outlook and the direction that 2020 was going for the profession of our sport. and for the longevity of our sport. So I sat down with a team of people and I said, if you guys like work with me on this, we raise some money and we are going to put on a virtual championship that is the highest level of professionalism. It will stand to up against any of the best events that have ever been put on. If not, we can outrun them, and we can be a bigger and stronger event than they've ever been before. We can bring in more participants than ever been done in history. We can give a bigger cash prize that's ever been given away in history. And we can take everybody who's been furloughed, fired, all the athletes that have no money, all the sponsorships that have completely cut out of the sport. I was like, I will bring all of that back in, and I will bring us into 2021 stronger. So I built the team. They all agreed, and the process started, July 2nd, I think. It was about a couple days before 4th of July. And we just started pumping. So from that point on, once the team was assembled, we picked a date that we were going to start, November 2nd, and we started to backdate. Every single thing from that point on, we had to understand what was happening every single week from the day that I was standing right there all the way to the day of the event. And basically our goal is if you cannot be in a physical event, we have to do it virtually. So we contacted all the partners to make this thing work. So the way it's going to work, I'll just explain, is it's basically going to be just like the CrossFit Open, 4 weeks, 4 workouts. 2 of the workouts are going to be running based, strictly running. Okay. So obstacle course racing, if you haven't figured this out by now, very running biased. Okay. The other 2 are going to be gym based. Is going to be very, very limited equipment. We do have to have some equipment because I'm not going to allow like burpees, jumping jacks, like what Spartan Race is doing right now. Sure, they're empowering people to go out and work out, but like they're making people do push-ups and like bear crawls and like jumping jacks. It's like, that's not an athletic event.
Let's get this down. So 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Okay.
4 workouts.
Beginning October 1st.
Nope, November 2nd. Jesus, man.
Beginning November 2nd.
November 2nd is the first workout release.
Okay, and then they're
every Monday, basically what's going to start is you have until Monday until Friday to compete every single week, Friday at midnight. Then we basically have the next 40 hours
to score it.
We're going to go through, we have a whole judging team. It's not going to lie. Like when Joe DeSena said it's hard to run these companies, this is costing a lot of money. We have a whole judging team, and then Sunday afternoon, we will release the event champions and current standings. Monday afternoon, we will release the workouts, and then you have until next Friday. We will repeat that for 4 weeks.
I like it already.
Every single week, there's going to be an event champion, and I'm going to go into the cash prizes, actual cash prizes. I'm not manipulating this to say prize purse. It's cash.
So you'll Venmo me the money.
Yeah, dude, if you win, you're going to make some sick cash. That's another thing that's absolutely crazy. Like the legality behind these things is enormous. If I didn't have a great team, I would lose my mind.
Can I just say real talk? Hunter called me about some of these legal issues. And I said, yeah, I'm not the guy. I'm the guy that cuts a lot of corners on when it comes to this stuff. So don't talk to somebody talk to somebody else. He's like, how did you handle insurance and legal payouts? I'm like, yeah, I'm not that guy. There's a lot of business advice I can give you, but not about that. I'm the permission, not forgiveness, whatever the phrase is. Okay. So
yeah,
let's go back over
let's see what we got. Let's see you picked up on.
Okay, 4 weeks, starting November 2nd. We will release the workout on Monday. You got Monday until Friday midnight to do it. Then we score you. Sunday afternoon, we say, this is this week's champ. Here's the current standings. And then boom, Monday, release the workout again. So, so you said something about running and body weight. Like, tell me the thing about the weights again.
There will be 2 running workouts, no equipment included.
2 running workouts.
There will be 2 gym workouts. When I say gym, you can do this from the comfort of your own home. It is such limited equipment that you can do this at your own home. You do not need to have a gym. I do need to include certain equipment like a pull-up bar. I'll release that information right now. It's like We are a grip-based sport. You have to hang from things, show that you can control your body moving through time and space while hanging from your hands. A pull-up bar is definitely included in this.
So per week, there's going to be 2 running and 2 gym, or over
No.
before?
Workout 1 may be a gym or run workout. Workout 2 may be a gym or run. Workout 3, gym or run. Workout 4, gym or run. I'm telling you right now, giving you guys some information, there's 2 running and 2 gym.
Okay. And are you able to release how much money we're giving and how many places you're going down? And is it men's?
Totally. So another big part of this thing that I want to release, let's make sure that you guys know the most important things. We partnered with OCRWC. We are their virtual event of the year. We are the only events in 2020 that will qualify you for the 2021 World Championships. We are qualifying pros. We are in all events. We are qualifying age group athletes in all events. I'm going to make sure that he doesn't kill me before I say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Right now, I believe at this point, and Adrian and I are confirming everything, so don't anybody get your panties in a bundle if this is wrong. We will be qualifying 440 athletes to their events in 2021.
That's a lot.
Well, think about it. We lost an entire year.
Right.
So
can we go back to the money, though?
Well, hold on. I want to explain the level of professionalism here because I take this very seriously. I have always been somebody who completely builds my schedule around races. I know that I'm a pro. I also care a lot about the age group athletes because the age group athletes are the people who basically fund this entire sport. They're the people who actually keep this thing alive. So we are taking the age groups very seriously. I want you guys to know if you compete in this, like it is something that will actually qualify you for an in-person event. So take these events seriously, like continue to train hard so that you can compete harder next year. So that is completely our goal from this thing. And also with the pros, like we take it very seriously. We built an entire judging that we have all the data in that we're going to do our very best to make sure that you are qualified and like actually get your spot that you deserve. So we will be looking for cheaters. Now let's go into cash prizes. Cash prize is another really big part of this whole thing. I realized that my entire income that was basically shot to crap. And I know that if my income is getting shot to crap, that everybody else is probably in a similar boat. And I know people like, I thought about VJ immediately. VJ right now is 21 years old and the dude probably can't take a hit of not working for a year. And if he doesn't get to race for another year or so, that dude's probably going to have to seek out another profession. And what I thought when I was that age, dude, people sponsored me and helped me get along the way. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to let people who are just starting their career end up getting crushed by this thing. So I have to raise money and make sure that we get cash prizes back to the athletes. So basically, like we raised all this money. The first cash prize guaranteed, even if only 5 athletes sign up, we're going to give away $31,000. So that's bigger than you see given away at an NBC race. That's bigger than you see over the whole thing. Yep. So, I mean, if you become the event champion, you win $5,000. If you become the entire event champion, if you become a workout winner, you win $1,000. That's a bonus. So let's say, you're some superstar, you win the whole thing and you win every single event, which would be insane. You win $9,000. So it goes, first place, 5,000. Hold on. I got to take the break out.
Yeah. I'm typing like crazy.
First place, 5,000. Yeah. You can stop me at any time. So first place, 5,000. Second place, 3,000. Third place, 2,000. Fourth place, 1,000. Fifth place, 500.
Second place, 3K.
Yep.
Third place is what? 2?
Third place is 2,000. Yep. Fourth place, 1,000.
Fourth place, 1. Fifth place, 500.
Yep. And every event win is $1,000 bonus.
So you win. There's only first for the week during the week.
There's first for the week, and then there's first for the entire thing. And it's going to be golf scoring.
Right. But the top 5 is for the whole thing.
Whole thing. We don't pay like out every workout.
Each week there's a winner that gets paid.
There's
but not second through fifth, just the winner.
Yep.
And this is men's and women's.
Men's and women's.
Will women have different What's it called when you have different things?
Well, yeah, women will have different weights. They're not going to have any different reps or anything like that. There's no barbells included in this. So when I mention weights, I don't want anybody to think like they need to have this freaking stack of plates. But measurements and things like that will be adjusted for women. But in reality, it's like the rigs are basically the same height for the women. Like they get a little step up. Like we're not adjusting a ton of things here. Yeah.
I understand.
So, and we're doing golf scoring. So if you took first place in the world for the first workout, and then you took fifth place in the world for the second one, first for the third, fifth for the fourth, you have a score of 12. You know what I mean?
It's also cross-country scoring, I believe. Don't they do that? Were you ever a cross-country runner?
Yeah, it was. I just don't remember. But, you know, I wanted to make it as simple as possible. If people aren't in cross-country, everybody knows what golf scoring is.
Right. Now, okay. I think High Rocks did a good job of people submitted their workouts, and we saw, like, dude, that guy was fourth, he's now 10th. Like they no-repped him for 20 reps, and then he submitted another one. So you're going to have super rigid, this kind of money, right?
Yep. We got a whole judging team.
What platform will you be using? Are you using Competition Corner?
Yep, we're using Competition Corner. We use Competition Corner to host everything, and you know, it will be a very diverse thing. There'll be individual signups, there'll be team signups. We're working on right now having nation signups to show the fittest nations in the world. The way that we're going to be able to track all of our analytics on running is we're going to have Strava. So if you want to be part of this, you have to actually sign up a Strava account, which is free. You have to actually have an account so that you're able to submit your run. So like if I tell you to go run 100 meters, you click record, you click it, you copy the link, you send it in, you put it in bed. I'm making sure, because some people are gonna be like, what is this Strava thing? Like, I'm amazed by the dumb questions I get on a daily basis just from my training.
Trust me, you will. I learned from my ultravirus, which you participated in. Many questions, yes.
Yes. So
Strava is free.
Yeah. So we have been working on this for a very long period of time. At this point, I will admit it's not just me. I have John Burkle, who's the COO. We have, we have CFO, Little Hunter. We got CXO. Little Hunter has been my finance guy for years. He comes in, we started out here in Malibu, and now he actually lives in Colorado right when I moved back from here.
But is he like a mini Hunter, like a mini Ditka?
I'm 6'2" and 210 pounds. He's 5'11", 150 pounds.
He must be skinny, because I'm 5'11", and I'm as low as I've ever been. I'm like 178 right now. This is like as low as I've ever been.
He's a rock climber. Oh, right. And we got sweet Benny. He's in charge of user experience. He's in contact with all athletes all hours of the day. We got
this is breaking news. I'm going to release this video like right now.
I can't. I have to have you release it September 2nd.
Oh, God damn you. I thought we were going to go today. All right, that's fine. I was going to release later, but the video is exciting. All right, September 2nd.
I know. We have to wait until September 2nd, just because. So this is another thing that I think is really important about this whole experience. That is just the beginning of the cash prize, by the way, and I will explain how that climbs up.
But I'm not big on teasers, but can I at least do a coming soon, a competition by Hunter?
Please do that. So what I'm asking everybody who's listening to this podcast, if you've ever met me, if you've ever been involved in the sport and you care a lot about what's going on, you care more about the sport than just, the one race that you ran and now you're just bored and listening to this podcast. If you're a lover of what we do and you really want to see this stuff succeed, I need everyone to come together strong and help support this thing, because it's my goal to help grow this as much as possible. And basically if we can hit 20,000 users, we're bringing our cash prize up all the way to $240,000. There's a tier-based system, and we are giving down as far as we can go, very plush cash prizes. We are also really focusing on the age group athletes. I'm bringing in tons of amazing sponsors to make sure, you know, the pros get the cool t-shirts, the watches, the shoes and everything. I was like, I'm going to make you feel like a pro for the day. If you're participating and you really want to push yourself, I'm going to make sure if you do well in this thing, I deck you the F out. I'm going to pump you guys up.
This is going to be
but
very
it's really,
I'm very excited about this, Hunter.
I'm very excited about this, dude.
I mean, we've talked a little bit about it, but I like things like that get people really, really excited. And by the way, this is not just America. This is the world.
This is
Wherever
globally.
We're watching this all over the world. The times will be based on Pacific Standard Time, probably, right? Like when you launch it, but you've got all week to do it.
All week to do it. And it's my goal, basically, like this is to find the fittest, most just hardworking OCR athlete. And maybe you've never even done an OCR event and you just want to try this thing out and see what you're really made of. And maybe you don't even care about being competitive and you just want something to do during this crazy time because, like, you know what? Since this thing started, I started a business. I did Murph. I'm just doing everything to give myself significance and something to work hard for. And I know so many people I'm getting on the phone with these days and they're like, dude, I don't even know what to do anymore. Like, I don't even really like training that much anymore. I was like, here's a freaking reason. I'm giving you something to pin up on the wall and I want you guys to charge for this thing. But it's very important that if you believe in this cause, you sign up to compete or you sign up to support. Because there are people who have lost their jobs, who have lost a lot during this time. And I really want to make sure that in 2021, it looks like we didn't even skip a beat. We just blinked our eyes and it was the next year. Because it would break my heart to see this thing change the whole sport.
What is the entry fee? Do we know how much that is yet?
$30 to sign up.
Okay.
Pretty gosh darn affordable. That's $750 a week.
Could I, if I missed the first week, could I sign up later and just compete the last 3 weeks?
No, I mean, like, I would feel unfair, but like, we're not, maybe we'll leave registration open just so you can sign up for fun. But if you're really competing, I need everyone signing up by November 1st. It's just like, that's the start date.
All right. I would say keep it open because you're going to get people who missed the first week, but go, you know what? I want to still do it anyway the last 3 weeks. I want to see how I stack up.
Sure. Listen, dude, I'm telling you right now, expense-wise, I can tell you guys hand on my heart, I would not make very much money off this thing unless I have 20,000 people sign up. I'm giving money back. I'm giving so much money back to the athletes. I have so many freaking expenses. I'm blown away. Like when Joe DeSantis used to tell me, he's like, I don't make a lot of money off these events. I was like, shut up, dude. And now I'm realizing, because I don't even have any overhead. There's no feet on the ground. There's no storage for stuff. I don't have to build anything. It's pretty crazy running these things. And you did it on like a mom and pop shop version. I'm trying to scale this thing up like we were talking about earlier in this conversation.
Right.
It's pretty crazy. But, just to button this thing up, I do take this very seriously. I absolutely love my job. I love my sport, and I will do everything within my power to make sure that this thing grows to its fullest capacity so that we can give everything back to the athletes. And you know what? I've been given everything. I've been given a free home for a lot of years in Malibu. I've been given incredible sponsors. People like Joe have let me live at their house. And if there's anything I can do this 1 year when people are struggling, I'm going to do my best to give back. So I'm very excited about it.
So I know you're going to appear on every podcast you can. You're going to talk to CrossFit people. You're going to try to talk to Rich Roll and Joe Rogan or whoever. Do I at least get the first day? Can I at least drop mine first?
You're the first person, man. You're the first person I talk to.
You're going to celebrate a release on September 2nd. So
nope, I will exclusively say that you have the September 2nd release because you and I have been partners for too long.
Yes. Sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, man. And listen, if there's anything I can do to explain this better to people, or if there's anything I can do to be a resource for you guys to get more involved in this, please let me know. If you are somebody listening to this and you're somehow a sponsor and like to support, it's our goal mostly to give back with sponsors, to give back to those age group athletes so that they can feel like superheroes through this thing. So very excited about that. And I can't wait to share more with you guys.
Dude, that's awesome. Let me take you off record. Hang on.
I'm drenched in sweat right now. It's so fucking hot up here.